the ladies not for turning.
Margaret Hilda Roberts was born on October 13, 1925, in Grantham, a small town in Lincolnshire, England. She was the daughter of Alfred Roberts, a grocer and local politician, and Beatrice Ethel. Growing up in a family that valued hard work, thrift, and self-reliance, young Margaret imbibed conservative values from an early age. She attended Kesteven and Grantham Girls' School, where she excelled academically and participated in various extracurricular activities, including drama and debating. In 1943, Thatcher won a scholarship to study chemistry at Somerville College, Oxford, during a time when very few women pursued higher education. At Oxford, she joined the university's Conservative Association and actively engaged in political discussions and debates, honing her political beliefs and rhetoric. After graduating with a degree in chemistry in 1947, Thatcher briefly worked as a research chemist for BX Plastics. However, her interest in politics led her to switch careers, and she trained as a barrister. During this time, she met Dennis Thatcher, a successful businessman whom she married in 1951. In the early 1950s, Thatcher's political career began to take shape as she became involved in local politics. She stood as a Conservative Party candidate in Dartford in the 1950 and 1951 general elections but was unsuccessful. Despite the losses, she persisted in her political ambitions and continued to work hard to gain recognition within the party. In 1959, Thatcher achieved her first major political success when she was elected as the Member of Parliament, MP, for Finchley, a suburban London constituency. As an MP, she quickly gained a reputation as a formidable debater and an advocate for conservative principles and free market economics. Over the next decade, she held various positions within the party, serving in opposition to the Labour government. Thatcher's rise to prominence was steady but not without challenges. As a woman in a male-dominated political arena, she faced gender-based discrimination and skepticism from some members of her own party. However, her intellect, determination, and unyielding belief in her conservative principles won her respect and admiration from many within the conservative ranks. In 1975, after the Conservative Party lost the general election, Edward Heath, the then leader of the party, faced internal dissent. Thatcher entered the leadership contest, and in a surprising turn of events, defeated Heath to become the leader of the Conservative Party. This made her the first woman to lead a major political party in the UK. As the leader of the opposition, Thatcher was a fierce critic of the Labour government's policies, which she believed were detrimental to the British economy and undermined individual freedoms. She advocated for a return to conservative values, emphasizing personal responsibility, limited government intervention, and the promotion of free market capitalism. Thatcher's leadership style was characterized by her unyielding resolve and uncompromising rhetoric. She earned the nickname Iron Lady for her tough stance on various issues and her refusal to back down in the face of opposition. In the general election of May 1979, the Conservative Party won a decisive victory, and Margaret Thatcher became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Her election marked a historic moment as the first woman to hold the highest office in the country. Thatcher's premiership was defined by a set of bold and controversial policies aimed at transforming the British economy and society. Her economic policies, collectively known as Thatcherism, were rooted in the belief that reducing the role of the state and promoting free market capitalism would unleash individual initiative and foster economic growth. One of Thatcher's earliest and most significant challenges as Prime Minister was tackling high inflation and unemployment. Her government implemented a series of fiscal and monetary measures to control inflation, which had reached double-digit levels in the 1970s. To reduce the power of labor unions, which were seen as a hindrance to economic progress, Thatcher's government passed laws restricting their activities. This culminated in the bitter and protracted miners' strike of 1984 to 1985. during which the government faced significant opposition from striking coal miners and their supporters. Perhaps one of the most controversial aspects of Thatcher's premiership was her approach to privatization. Her government privatized many state-owned industries, including British Telecom, British Gas, and British Airways, among others. While these policies were praised for promoting efficiency and competition, critics argued that they led to job losses and social inequality. Thatcher's foreign policy also played a significant role in her time as Prime Minister. She was a vocal advocate of a strong defense policy and increased defense spending. Thatcher's close relationship with the United States, particularly with President Ronald Reagan, led to cooperation on several international issues, including the deployment of U.S. nuclear missiles in the UK to counter the threat from the Soviet Union. One of the defining moments of Thatcher's premiership was the Falklands War in 1982. When Argentina invaded the British territory of the Falkland Islands, Thatcher took a firm and decisive stance, ordering a British task force to retake the islands. The successful military campaign not only bolstered her popularity at home but also cemented her image as a strong and determined leader on the international stage. In the 1983 general election, the Conservative Party, led by Thatcher, secured a resounding victory, with the Iron Lady's popularity at its peak. However, as her government continued to implement controversial policies, including the introduction of the community charge, widely known as the poll tax, public support started to wane. Protests against the poll tax and concerns over the government's handling of economic issues led to internal dissent within the Conservative Party. By the late 1980s, several senior cabinet ministers began to voice their opposition to Thatcher's leadership. Facing significant challenges to her leadership, Thatcher resigned as Prime Minister on November 28, 1990. She was succeeded by her Chancellor of the Exchequer, John Major. Thatcher's departure from office marked the end of an era and a turbulent chapter in British politics. Margaret Thatcher's legacy remains a subject of debate and discussion. Supporters credit her with turning around a stagnant British economy, reducing inflation, and restoring the country's global standing. They argue that her policies led to long-term economic benefits and instilled a sense of individual responsibility and self-reliance. Critics, on the other hand, point to the social consequences of Thatcher's policies, particularly the impact on industries and communities that suffered from mass unemployment. They argue that her approach to privatization and deregulation contributed to income inequality and societal divisions. Thatcher's strong leadership style, assertive foreign policy, and conservative ideology continue to influence British politics and have left a lasting imprint on the Conservative Party. While her legacy evokes diverse opinions, there is no doubt that Margaret Thatcher's role as the first female Prime Minister of the UK and her impact on the nation's policies and identity make her a significant figure in modern British history. After retiring from active politics, Thatcher wrote her memoirs and remained engaged in public speaking and international affairs until her health declined. She passed away on April 8, 2013, at the age of 87. Leaving behind a complex and enduring legacy as one of the most influential and polarizing leaders in British political